Welcome to the Travel Transformation Podcast, where we talk all things travel and all things transformation, exploring the life-changing potential of solo travel, intentional travel, and location-independent working. Whether you're an aspiring digital nomad or simply wish to boost your confidence through epic travel experiences, I'm here to motivate and inspire you to go after all your wildest dreams. I'm Jessica Grace Coleman, author, certified travel coach, founder of the Travel Transformation Company, and your host for the Travel Transformation Podcast. Travel changed my life. Now let's change yours. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to the Travel Transformation Podcast, the podcast that talks all things travel and all things transformation. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman. You can call me Jess. And this is going to be a quick solo episode. And I've called it Weird and Wonderful Tourist Attractions and Bizarre Things to Visit on Your Next Trip. Now, this podcast episode was inspired by an email I sent to my email list, the Intentional Travel Club. You can sign up by going to traveltransformationcoach.com, because last week I went to Bude in Cornwall with my brother, Dave, had a static caravan on a campsite. And unfortunately, the weather was terrible most of the time we were there, though we did have some sun one of the days. And we went to visit Bude just to a change of scenery, really. I took my work with me. I was doing work. So we didn't have much time for like touristy stuff, but I always look on TripAdvisor whenever I go somewhere new and see what kind of attractions are around. So I went on TripAdvisor and I looked up Bude, and the number one tourist attraction was for the Bude Tunnel. Literally number one because of all the reviews. And basically what it is a covered walkway going from Sainsbury's car park to the front of Sainsbury's, so you can walk with your shopping in the rain and not get wet until you come out the other end of the tunnel. It's literally like a plastic, metal and glass walkway. I actually don't know if it's glass, it might just be plastic. And that's literally it. But a few years ago, the locals thought it'd be funny to make it sound more interesting than it is. So they started writing all these ridiculous reviews on TripAdvisor, maybe on Google too, I haven't checked, about how it's a magnificent feat of engineering akin to the Taj Mahal and how it's just wondrous and magical, and you have to take all the family there, and people from far and wide come to see the Bude Tunnel, number one tourist attraction in the area. And I don't know about you, but those kind of reviews always make me laugh. It's something so human, so British about just taking the piss out of something. But actually making it into something. Like, people do actually come from far and wide now to see the Bude Tunnel because of the TripAdvisor reviews. And they take selfies with it. They take videos of them walking through it. It's all very exciting. So we went there. We had to go to Sainsbury's anyway. And it was in the evening, so it was dark. And we walked up and down the tunnel. I took some footage for my documentary. My Move Fire Your Life documentary I'm doing this year. And I posted about it on social media, and, you know, it made lots of people laugh. And I just thought, what a weird and wonderful world this place is, where something like a covered walkway, a little tunnel, can bring so much joy and laughter to so many people. It's utterly ridiculous, but so is life when you think about it. So I love that. And I put it in an email to my email list, as I said. And it made me think about other weird attractions I've visited on my travels. And there have been many. This would not be a quickie if I went through them all. But on my email, I also included a picture of me in the giant kiwi fruit in New Zealand. I'm not sure the kiwi farm is open anymore, sadly, but it was called Kiwi 360. And it was a kiwi farm. You could go on a little tour around the kiwi farm. It was out of season when we went, so there was like me, my friend Ruth, and like a couple of other people trundling around on these little kiwi train things. It was very cute. Great gift shop. I got some amazing kiwi fruit chocolate from there, which I can still remember, even though it was absolutely years ago. And on the roadside, as a kind of gimmick or a kind of landmark, they had made a giant kiwi fruit, a giant slice of kiwi fruit. And it was actually a hollow metal structure that had stairs in it, so you could go inside, climb up, and then at the top of this giant kiwi fruit, there was a little panel that opened, and you could stick your head out and wave your arms. And me and my friend Ruth both did this, and we both got pictures of each other in the giant kiwi fruit. And I don't know why, but I just love stuff like this. And obviously a lot of other people do too, because I haven't actually been to any of them, even though I have been to Australia. But if you haven't heard of them, Australia basically has a list of big things. They're actually called big things, like with capital letters, that you can go and visit if you're on a road trip or something. And they're just giant structures of big things, like big food items, big household items, and they're just ridiculous, and I love it. So this could be an idea. Well, it could be an idea for a road trip. Obviously, Australia is very, very large, so it could take you a while. But I'm looking online now in AustralianTraveller.com magazine, and they've got a list of them and pictures. So there's a big prawn, there's a big pineapple, there's a big kangaroo, of course, a big cane toad, the golden gumboot, which is like a welly boot. It's got some kind of frog on it. There's the big bullock, big bull, the big easel. This is actually quite cool. It's got like Van Gogh's sunflowers on this giant easel. The big barramundi, the big cassowary, that's great. Big apple, big lobster, big rocking horse, the big galah, of course, big banana. And some of these are sort of like linked to businesses to get people to come and visit, which is very clever, I think. Some of them are just completely random things in the middle of nowhere. The big potato, there we go, the big kookaburra, that's actually quite cool. I won't go through all of them because there's millions, but we love stuff like this. Like, why wouldn't you want to go and see a giant prawn and have your picture taken in front of it? So it also got me thinking about other places I'd visited. And when I went to New England a few years ago now, I'd love to go back. I loved it so much. Did a Halloween/autumn road trip with my friends, Ruth and Vicky. And I was looking on, I think I was just looking on Google Maps to see what was in the area. And I know I had where we were going to visit. So I was looking around places. We were going to Burlington in Vermont. So I knew where we were coming from, where we would be driving. It was like a road trip. And I saw this thing on the map, which stopped me in my tracks because it was called the world's tallest filing cabinet. And it's pretty much exactly how it sounds. It's a giant, giant filing cabinet. There's like, I don't know, 30 or something, 38 filing cabinets on top of each other. It actually was an art installation by a local artist, Bren Alvarez. And I do believe it was something like a protest against how long some work was happening, like some roadworks or something. I can't exactly remember. Here we go. Oh, yeah. The bureaucratic delays building the Southern Connector, a roadway intended to connect Interstate 89 to downtown Burlington. I'm not entirely sure how it all connects together, but it's basically a giant, filing cabinet. It's got stickers on. People go and put stickers on. You can go and take pictures in front of it. It's literally just by the side of a road next to a big car park, which helps. And I was like, well, this is ridiculous. We have to go and see it. And it was amazing. I think lots of birds have made nests in it and stuff. So, it's being used. It's not just a thing. And when we got there were so many other people taking photos next to it. I had gone specifically to see the world's tallest filing cabinet. And it was really fun actually driving around as we got closer, sort of looking in the sky, looking on the horizon to see if we could see the world's tallest filing cabinet. And yeah, I love stuff like that. It's just bizarre. And, I wouldn't fly to New England just to see it. But if you're already in the area, that kind of thing, it really tickles me. Similar to the big things in Australia, in Wyoming, in Cheyenne, they have 35 hand-painted, customized 8-foot-tall cowboy boots located at businesses throughout town. Now, if you know me at all, you'll know I'm a huge country music fan. I'm a huge cowboy boot fan. I own many, many pairs. And seeing these boots, I think I first saw them on Instagram with like someone standing next to them. I was like, oh my God. I think I have been to Wyoming briefly during a road trip several years ago with my family, but I'm not sure we went to Cheyenne. But these boots are amazing. I've got a brochure, downloaded a PDF brochure from Cheyenne.org. And yeah, they're really cool. They're like painted, they've got artwork on them. They're all like the same boot base. And then they've been painted and just made to look, each one looks individual. Each one's got different pictures on, but they're all really, really cool. There's like the Outlaws of Wyoming, Blue Skies over Cheyenne, Licensed to Boot, Don't Feed the Animals. These are the names of the boots. Do you want to learn all about the 5 travel transformation principles, including how to conquer your fears through travel? then you need to grab a copy of my Travel Transformation Guide, written by me, Jessica Grace Coleman, as part of my Flip the Script Academy. It's totally free. All I ask for in exchange is your email address so I can keep you updated on all things travel and transformation. Just head to traveltransformationcoach.com/free guide to get your guide today. And now, let's get back to the Travel Transformation podcast. Wyoming women first to vote, the Walmart boot, Exeter's Pony Express, Lewis Auto Repair. So yeah, one day I think I'm going to go to Wyoming and I am going to go around, hopefully they'll still be there, all the boots and get pictures with them all. That is like something I would totally do. And why not? I mean, you know, we can travel for crazy reasons. We can travel for whatever reason we want. I would obviously do other things other than just seeing boots. But yeah, I think this kind of thing is really, really cool. It also got me thinking about other weird places I've visited. And again, I haven't gone to these places specifically to visit these places, to visit these attractions, but they've just sort of cropped up as I've gone on my travels. And I love going to visit writers' houses, places like writers actually lived. So my hometown is quite near Shakespeare's Stratford-upon-Avon, which I've talked about on this podcast. You can go to Shakespeare's birthplace, like where he grew up, and his new place, I think it's called, that he lived in later on. And I've been to loads. When I was in New England, we went to Mark Twain's house, a very nice house as well, in Connecticut, I believe that is. And yeah, I love going to places like that because I'm a writer myself. I love reading. I love seeing where they actually worked. Having just read a load of Emily Dickinson poems and watched the Dickinson TV show on Apple TV+, I now want to go to the Emily Dickinson Museum in Massachusetts. So when I go back to New England, that's on my list. It helps that a lot of these houses are really cute. They're really historical, but they're really cute as well. But one of the weird things that I've done in terms of writers is visiting their graves. I know this sounds super morbid, but I went to Sleepy Hollow in New York State when I was in New England. And, well, during my New England trip, I don't think New York counts as New England State, but we went there. And it is basically the place that inspired The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, written by Washington Irving and then made into a spooky film with Johnny Depp, a Tim Burton film. And it's a very cool place. It has like the old Dutch church. They've really run with the Headless Horseman theme. They had a lot of Halloween stuff going on. There's like a big statue of the Headless Horseman and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that people do there is they go to the church and they go to the graveyard and they go and look at Washington Irving's grave. And why not? I mean, if you manage to do something in this life that leaves a lasting legacy and that people love and people want to go and visit your grave, then why not? So I've been to see his grave, but one of the ones I wanted to talk about was Edgar Allan Poe's grave, which is in Baltimore in the States. And it's quite an impressive grave. It's pretty cool. A lot of people, love Edgar Allan Poe. He has big fans. And, the whole Gothic thing, I'm really into all that. I love a lot of his stories and poems. And there used to be a mystery around this grave. Now, I should have Googled this before, so I've got it straight. But I remember when we went, I think it had stopped by that point, but only by a couple of years. Every year, either on his birthday or the day he died, probably the day he died, a strange figure would appear at midnight, cloaked in black, and leave a rose on the grave. And this went on for years, and no one knew who did it, as far as I know. Like I said, I should have Googled this. But I kind of like the mystery that I remember anyway. And just stuff like that really fascinates me. Like how someone's grave can turn it into not a tourist attraction, but, a place to visit, and how there can be a spooky mystery even hundreds of years after this guy's death. And with this cloaked figure turning up at midnight with a rose every year. I just, love it. So those are other weird things I visited. I also Googled what are the weirdest tourist attractions in the world. So there are things that are actually like attractions, which some of them I've been to. So the Catacombs of Paris, I've talked about that on this podcast with all the skulls down there. It's really creepy, but it got me thinking, and I actually found it quite emotional. And stuff like the Bermuda Triangle, of course, that's weird. Then we've got stuff like Carhenge. So I assume this is Stonehenge, but with cars, in Nebraska. That looks pretty cool, actually. A lot of this stuff is stuff I would imagine you stumbling upon during, like, if you went on a road trip along Route 66 in America, which I'd really love to do. Just kind of really weird tourist attractions at the side of the road. So there's things like Cadillac Ranch, that also looks like cars coming out of the ground. Yep. Cat Island in Japan, Bubblegum Alley in California. Accumulation of used bubblegum on the walls of an alley. I'm not sure I want to see that. The Cup Noodles Museum. A ramen-themed amusement park in Japan. There's like loads of lists of weird stuff to go and see. Okay, so I just looked on Condé Nast Traveller, and it's got a list of strangest tourist attractions in the world. We have New Zealand's steepest street, and all the houses are like wonky. We've got a wonky pub near us in the Midlands, which is quite cool. California's life-size dinosaurs. This actually reminds me of, I went to Norwich, where my friend Laura lives, a few years ago, and they've had all kinds of animals, I think, in the past, but the most recent one I saw was a dinosaur trail, which was kind of like the Wyoming boots, but not as big. The same kind of base dinosaur, but people had decorated them differently, given them clothing and personalities and names and stuff. And they were dotted all around the city, and it was quite fun to go and find them all, even though it was kind of meant for kids. I loved it. Oh, England's Gnome Reserve. 1,000 gnomes and pixies in their natural outdoor habitat. Okay, I didn't know this existed. I might have to look into this, although it kind of creeped me out a bit. Carhenge. Oh, there's a China's upside down house. It's literally what it sounds like. That looks pretty cool. I would visit there. Japan's Ramen Museum. Australia's Big Lobster, or all the big things in Australia. Iceland's Phallus Museum. I actually think I've been there. If it's the same place I'm remembering. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been there. Oh, South Africa's Big Pineapple. I didn't know they had a big pineapple. That's pretty cool. I wonder if it's the same size as Australia's one. England's Petrifying Well. Okay. Legend has it that Mother Shipton was a witch with a power of prophecy, predicting many events, including the Great Fire of London in 1666. At her cave, you'll discover her stony dwellings, as well as the petrifying well, said to have magical properties. Lots of stuff about the petrification process. It reminds me of the petrified forest in the States, which I went to when I was younger. That's pretty cool as well. Thailand's Hell Garden. Well, this looks horrific. I don't think I want to go there. There's like lots of weird giant statues depicting hell, I assume. But yeah, I love stuff like this. I could ramble on about it forever. I could look back on all my pictures of my travels, and I can guarantee you there'll be at least one weird thing everywhere I went. But I just wanted this to be a quickie, so I'm going to stop here. But please let me know if you have visited any weird and wonderful tourist attractions, like the world's tallest filing cabinet, or the big things in Australia, or, random graves. Why not? Let me know, because I think I'm going to create a list of weird places I want to visit. You can email me at info@traveltransformationcoach.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at traveltransformationcoach. And you can sign up to my email list, like I said, at traveltransformationcoach.com. And yeah, I wish you weird and wonderful travels and bizarre things that you can visit on your next trip. That's it for now. Until next week, I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you for listening to the Travel Transformation Podcast with me, Jessica Grace Coleman. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, rate and review, and spread the word, because it's my mission to help as many people as possible to flip the script on their lives and transform through travel. And remember, life is short, so let's make sure it's nothing short of amazing. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.